Tonight, Tehran is ablaze, its streets transformed into a battleground of defiance. The city, once bustling with the ordinary rhythms of daily life, now pulses with the energy of resistance. Flames flicker in the darkness, casting long shadows over faces filled with determination and fearlessness. Crowds surge through the city, chanting slogans that challenge the very core of the Islamic Republic. Their voices, once whispers in the shadows, now ring out boldly, echoing off the walls of ancient buildings and modern high-rises alike. The air is thick with tension, but also with hope, a hope that things might finally change. Smoke from burning barricades glows against the night, while sirens and tear gas are drowned out by the roar of the people. The city's familiar skyline is obscured by plumes of smoke, and the flashing lights of emergency vehicles only add to the chaos. Yet, amid the confusion, the people's resolve grows stronger. This is more than protest. It's a nation breaking its silence after decades of repression. For years, fear kept people apart, but tonight, that fear has been replaced by a collective courage. The silence that once blanketed the country has been shattered by the cries for justice and freedom. From north to south, citizens of all ages and backgrounds unite, their frustration boiling over. Students, workers, mothers, and elders march side by side, their differences set aside in pursuit of a common goal. The unity on display is unprecedented, a testament to the depth of the nation's yearning for change. Government buildings burn, police vehicles lie overturned, and the once feared security forces are overwhelmed or absent. The symbols of state power, once untouchable, are now engulfed in flames, signaling a dramatic shift in the balance of power on the streets. The people have lost their fear. Where once they might have scattered at the sight of riot police, now they stand their ground, eyes blazing with conviction. The courage in their faces is unmistakable, and it inspires others to join the movement. What began as economic anger has become a demand for freedom and dignity. The grievances that first brought people to the streets, rising prices, joblessness, and corruption, have evolved into a broader call for human rights and respect. The slogans on banners speak not just of hardship, but of hope for a better future. "Death to the dictator" echoes through the city, a line few dared cross before. The taboo has been broken, and with it, the psychological barrier that kept dissent in check. The city reverberates with chants that would have once led to swift and brutal crackdowns. The bravery is breathtaking. Bare hands dismantle barricades, and no one flees. In the face of danger, the people press forward, refusing to be cowed by threats or violence. Their determination is contagious, spreading rapidly through the crowds. This uprising is not confined to Tehran. Reports of massive protests and fierce clashes pour in from cities nationwide. From Shiraz to Mashhad, Isfahan to Tabriz, the spirit of resistance is spreading like wildfire, uniting Iranians across regions and backgrounds. The regime's old tactic, crushing dissent before it spreads, has failed. Security forces, once the iron fist of the government, now find themselves outnumbered and outmaneuvered. Their retreat is a sign that the old order is faltering. Now, the fire is everywhere at once. The unrest has become impossible to contain, with flames of rebellion lighting up the night in every corner of the capital and beyond. The sense of urgency is palpable, as if the entire nation is holding its breath. For the first time in decades, the government's grip on power is truly threatened. Behind closed doors, officials scramble for answers, their confidence shaken by the scale and intensity of the uprising. The halls of power, once bustling with authority, now echo with uncertainty. Iran stands on the edge of transformation. The outcome remains uncertain, but one thing is clear: the people have found their voice, and the world is watching as a nation dares to dream of freedom once more. In a desperate move, the government shut down the internet, hoping to suffocate the protests. Instead, the blackout fueled outrage, seen as a sign of weakness and impending violence. Cut off from online updates, people flooded the streets to find out what was happening. The crowds grew, not shrank. The blackout became a rallying cry. Protesters relied on word of mouth and the sight of smoke to coordinate. Tech-savvy activists and the diaspora found ways to bypass the blackout, leaking harrowing footage to the world. Each video that escaped became a symbol of defiance, proving the regime could not silence 88 million people. The attempt to blind the nation only made it more determined to be seen. In Mashhad, a defining moment unfolded, one that would echo far beyond the city's borders and into the heart of a nation yearning for change. Security forces, including the feared IRGC, found themselves outnumbered and overwhelmed. For the first time in years, They retreated before unarmed protesters, their authority visibly shaken. This was no tactical move, it was a retreat, a crack in the regime's armor that had long seemed impenetrable. The fear that once paralyzed the public now gripped the enforcers. The IRGC's withdrawal electrified the nation. It was a moment of collective realization, proof that the people's determination could overcome even the most intimidating forces. Cheers erupted and hope surged through the crowd. News of the retreat spread rapidly, carried by smartphones and social media. Videos and images circulated within minutes, inspiring defiance in other cities and uniting people in a shared sense of possibility. Burning police vehicles became symbols of a shifting power dynamic. Each fire was more than destruction, it was a message that the old order was no longer unchallenged. Each fire was a public rejection of the regime's authority. A declaration that fear would no longer dictate the people's actions. Images of burning vehicles and advancing crowds defined the revolution. These scenes, broadcast around the world, became the new face of resistance. Protesters were no longer just victims. They were agents of their own liberation, pushing forward with newfound courage and unity. The retreat in Mashhad was not isolated, it signaled a nationwide threshold had been crossed. Protests erupted in city after city, as Iranians everywhere sensed the regime's vulnerability. The desire for freedom now outweighed fear of consequences. Faces in the crowd showed resolve, determination, and a willingness to face whatever came next. The regime faced a populace that would not be easily crushed. The old tactics of intimidation and violence were losing their power. The world watched as Iranians reclaimed their streets, block by block, night after night, refusing to back down. The balance of power was shifting, and for the first time in decades, the people sensed that real change was within their grasp. In the south, protesters seized Bandar Abbas, Iran's vital port on the Strait of Hormuz. This was a direct blow to the regime's economic heart, halting oil exports and imports of essential goods. The government's financial lifeline was cut, accelerating the crisis. Striking port workers joined protesters, overwhelming security forces. This alliance showed strategic coordination beyond spontaneous protest. The move isolated the regime economically, threatening its ability to pay security forces. The world felt the impact as global shipping and oil markets reacted. The protesters had forced the international community to confront Iran's crisis. Amid the chaos and uncertainty that fills the streets of Iran, the voices of ordinary people ring out, pleas for freedom, dignity, and the hope of a better future. Their cries echo through the night, undeterred by fear or repression, as they demand to be heard by their leaders, and the world beyond their borders. "We are not rioters, we are citizens," a young woman declares in a smuggled voice memo, her words trembling with both fear and courage. She speaks not just for herself, but for millions who have been silenced for too long. These are not mere calls for minor changes or reforms. These are demands for true transformation, a complete reimagining of what their country can be, built on justice, equality, and respect for human rights. Many of their messages are directed at world leaders, written in urgent handwriting on cardboard and banners. Support us, recognize us, stand with us in our struggle. Don't talk to this regime, they plead, urging the international community to stop legitimizing those who oppress them. Protesters feel abandoned by the world, and their calls for moral and political support grow more urgent with each passing day. They want to know they are not alone in their fight. They ask for targeted sanctions, punish the leaders, not the people. They want their voices amplified, their stories told, so the world cannot look away. The emotional toll is immense. Families search desperately for missing loved ones, clinging to hope as grief turns to rage. Every loss deepens their resolve. An elderly woman stands before riot police, clutching a photo of her slain son. Her voice breaks as she cries, "You killed him. I have nothing left to lose." Her pain is shared by countless others, fueling the fire of resistance. These stories, these sacrifices, unite the protesters. They fuel a collective resolve to see the struggle through no matter the cost or the obstacles ahead. Yet even in the darkest moments, hope persists. When security forces retreat, moments of celebration erupt. Cheers, hugs, and tears of relief fill the streets. Women wave their hijabs like flags of defiance, and people dance in the streets, reclaiming public spaces as their own. These are acts of liberation, decades in the making. Generations, old and young, stand side by side, united by a shared dream of freedom. The protesters fight not just against oppression, but for the right to live, to love, and to determine their own destiny. Their struggle is for every Iranian, and for the generations yet to come. Their resilience, their courage, is a testament to the unbreakable human spirit, a spirit that refuses to be crushed, no matter the odds. Now, at last, the world is finally listening. The cries for freedom are impossible to ignore. As Iran's crisis deepens, Washington responds. President Trump, back in the White House, addresses Tehran. "We are with you. Your courage inspires the world." He warns the regime, "Do not shut down the internet. Do not harm your people. There will be swift and severe consequences." The message is clear. America stands with the protesters, and the stakes are higher than ever. European leaders echo condemnation, but Trump's warning is the most forceful. The administration hints at further sanctions and technological support for protesters. Military intervention remains a last resort, but the threat is unspoken. For now, the U.S. strategy is vocal support and deterrence, aiming to limit bloodshed. The world is watching, and Tehran is on notice. This uprising spans every corner of Iranian society. University students lead walkouts and sit-ins, tearing down regime symbols and demanding democracy. The working class joins in. Oil, steel, and transport workers strike in solidarity. This alliance of youth and labor is the regime's nightmare. Idealism meets economic leverage. Women publicly remove and burn hijabs, transforming oppression into symbols of freedom. Protesters gather at graves of the fallen, vowing to continue the fight. The movement is nationwide. Over 100 cities erupt in protest, from Kurdish to Baluchi regions. Decentralized and leaderless, the uprising is resilient and impossible to contain. Iran's people have decided, enough is enough. The human cost is staggering, hundreds killed, thousands wounded. Hospitals are overwhelmed. Doctors treat the injured in secret to avoid reprisals. Security forces use live ammunition, snipers, and brutal tactics to terrorize the population. Yet this violence only strengthens the protesters' resolve. Ordinary people risk everything, forming human chains, rescuing the wounded, sheltering strangers. Their courage is forged in fire and blood, driven by a yearning for a better future. Personal loss fuels the fight. "She died for freedom. Now I must continue her fight," says a grieving father. Each casualty deepens the resolve. Grief becomes an unstoppable force. The regime's brutality cannot extinguish the hope burning in the hearts of the people. The world bears witness to their sacrifice. Iran's fight for freedom is now personal, relentless, and irreversible. As dawn breaks, Iran stands at a crossroads, its future hanging in the balance. The regime faces a choice: escalate violence or risk collapse from within as cracks appear in the security forces. Protesters hope defections will accelerate, shattering the state's monopoly on violence. International pressure mounts, but will it deter mass slaughter or harden the regime's resolve? The information war rages. Smuggled videos counter state propaganda, galvanizing support at home and abroad. The diaspora and activists keep information flowing, a lifeline for those on the ground. The fate of Iran rests with its people, whose courage and unity have shaken the regime. The path ahead is perilous. The regime will not yield easily. The world watches as a nation fights for its soul. Tonight, the silence in the streets is the tense calm before the next storm.